So in a lot of my previous videos, I've thoroughly recommended the M1 MacBooks as budget Macs with incredible performance for the money. I use an M1 MacBook Pro to edit all of my videos, and despite it only costing me £375, it does absolutely everything I need it to in order to run the channel. The 13-inch M1 machines have one major flaw though. They only have two USB-C ports. No HDMI, no Ethernet, USB-A is long gone, so aside from an audio jack, those two Type-C connections are all you get, and if you're charging your laptop, that's one of them gone already. Newer MacBooks are similarly held back in the ports department. The 15-inch Air would be my perfect computer if it didn't come with just two USB-C ports as well. The ones with more are the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro models, but those come at an insane price premium. The 2021 versions are still hard to find for under $1,000 and you do only get HDMI, MagSafe and SD card connections compared to the cheaper models. A lot of people are fine with the ports their MacBooks have, don't get me wrong. While I was a student, I only really plugged charging cables into mine. But now that I spend so much time editing videos, I find myself needing an external SSD for moving around footage, an Ethernet cable for reliable uploads, an audio interface for recording, and a mouse because I don't fancy editing entire videos using the trackpad. Oh, and of course a charging cable as well, all plugged in at once. So today I'm going to go over some of the different ways you can get around the lack of ports. At the end of the video, I'll show you what I've done. So a good option to start off with is getting a small portable USB adapter or two that adds ports to your Mac. There are two big advantages to going with a setup like this. Firstly, it's not super expensive. Don't get me wrong, I hate having to make more purchases after buying an already expensive laptop, and the problem shouldn't be there to fix in the first place. But if you've paid $500 or $1,000 on a MacBook already, getting a dongle or two isn't going to feel super significant at the end of the day. If you just need to change one of the ports you have to USB-A to use a mouse with your Mac occasionally, I can wholly recommend Apple's official USB-C to A adapter. I realise it's a very boring product, but it does get the job done. It's also under $10 if you buy used like I did. If you're after something more versatile, an adapter like this is probably your best bet. You can get a nice amount of extra ports like USB-A, HDMI and an SD reader built in. To be honest, these small adapters that are powered by your laptop's ports are really your best bet if you use your laptop out and about. So the next option is to go for something a lot bigger that you can use on your desk setup at home or at work. Externally powered docking stations are more expensive, but they offer a lot of features that no other accessories can add to your MacBook. I've had one at my desk for over a year now, but Wavlink have been kind enough to send me their new DL7400 as an option we can look at today. Docking stations like this basically add the inputs and outputs of a desktop PC to your laptop. There's an almost laughable level of connectivity on this Wavlink one. It has two HDMI, two DisplayPort, three USB-A 3.2 and three USB-C 3.2 ports, 2.5GB Ethernet, an SD card 4 slot, a 3.5mm audio jack for mic support, a Kensington lock, and a 100-watt USB-C connection for plugging it into your laptop. The cable included in the box actually screws into the device here, which I think is pretty clever really. Another advantage to going the docking station route is being able to bypass the display limitations of Apple Silicon Macs. Even the M1 MacBook Pro can only handle one external display because of the hardware Apple configured it with. So if you plug into one monitor for editing, let's say like I do, you're at absolute maximum capacity. Despite this video being the main reason I started my YouTube channel, I've not yet considered going the dual monitor route because of the M1 display limitations. A lot of docking stations like Wavlinks have something called DisplayLink inside. DisplayLink is a technology that acts kind of like a virtual graphics card, letting you attach monitors through the USB interface on your laptop, despite the fact that M1's GPU can't actually do that natively. The impressive thing about this dock is that its DL7400 chip is the latest one from DisplayLink. That means that it can support up to 4 different 4K displays at once, or 2 8K ones. That kind of display setup is way beyond our wildest dreams for most of us. But I will say it's nice to know the ceiling is high when you buy a piece of technology like this. You want it to last you no matter how your setup changes over time. Wavlink claims to have the very first docking station with the DL7400 chip inside, by the way, which is no mean feat considering how many brands out there are making these sorts of docks. So that's another thing I have to talk about in relation to docking stations. Their prices are a lot higher than what one might call passive adapters, and you can expect to go into the hundreds of dollars for one of these. They're high-power devices that require beefy power supplies, and some pretty up-to-date hardware for things like display link support, and keeping all of those connections as fast as they are. This Wavlink dock is no exception to the rule. In fact, it's advertised as a more premium offering. It's currently sitting at $216 on Amazon. That's a lot of money for something you're adding to a Mac you've probably spent over $500 on already. But that's what you have to work out at the end of the day. Is it better sticking with the ports you have? It's certainly doable for a lot of people, but one external display and a charging cable are all you're going to get if you have a Mac like mine with just 2 USB-C ports. It is of course free to stick with what you've got in terms of ports, but it might come at the cost of slowing your workflow down if you rely on a MacBook to complete important tasks for work, like a lot of people do. I already said it once before, but the next option of spending probably less than $30 on a few of these dongles powered by your laptop is likely the right solution for most MacBook users. If a tight budget is crucial for you, you can really deck your laptop out with most of what you need and generally use it all on the go. And I guess this last option is more of a professional's workstation setup. Getting a docking station is something I'd recommend for those who run a business from their computer, let's say. One of these really comes in handy if you're in the business of creating media like me as well, because the port expansion and display options are pretty much unrivaled. As you can see, having something like this on your desk lets you have your I/O right in front of you without creating a bird's nest of cables everywhere. I've been able to run my business more effectively for the last year or so with this Ivanki dock plugged in. Let's go back to the DL7400 for a second though, as I really am grateful to Wavlink for sorting me out with one. I won't lie, it doesn't offer far more ports than my old dock did or anything, but it's clearly a more premium product. I know I didn't pay full price for this one, but I can honestly say the metal design feels better than most Mac accessories I've used in the past, and the new display link capabilities are exciting and, dare I say, possibly future-proof technologies I'm happy to bring to the workflow behind my channel. Okay, so today's video isn't an exhaustive list of all the options you have when it comes to accessories with your Mac. Wireless accessories are another rabbit hole we could go down, and another day I'll definitely look at those. But if you're buying or own a Mac with 2 ports, I hope this video was informative in some way to you, and I hope to see you next time. Subscribe for more, and consider joining my Patreon membership if you'd like to contribute to the channel financially. Thank you very much, of course, to my current members, and I'll see you next week.